This podcast was created on the lands of the Ngunnawal people, the Wurundjeri people, and Ngāti Pawa. We acknowledge the contributions of Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, and Maori people to making rugby league the greatest game of all.
You're listening to NRL Hellmouth, the podcast where we open up a portal to the rugby league realm to see what horrors and delights we can unearth. And can you smell that? The slight aroma of tiger balm on a groin strain. The reek of club CEOs sweating during a tense meeting with Peter Elanders. The acrid petrochemical stench of a brand new synthetic steed in football. That's right, the NRL is back, baby. And it all kicks off this weekend atop the gleaming neon turd clinging to the toilet bowl of America, Las Vegas. My name is Simon, and as always, I'm here in the Hellmouth with my very own Las Vegas Rat Pack, James and Daniel. Hello.
Hello, Simon. Hello, James.
Ciao.
Coming up in the show today, we'll discuss the latest from the Vegas circus, blaze into the first drug scandal of the season, and take a deep dive into the new team logos. Let's open it up and raise some hell.
There's the kickoff. Let the party begin.
Like, I undeservedly apologise to everyone for my actions.
I didn't intend to disrespect anybody, and I definitely didn't do it on the car.
Well, I've been watching the seagulls, and not one of them is eating.
This is a horror movie. Rugby league. What else can this grand final provide?
To get stacked live on television.
Stop it, it's starting to hurt.
Now, before we move on, I'd like to just take a moment to address something that I said last week on the podcast. Sorry, this is a bit hard for me.
We'll get you through it, mate.
Last week we covered the story about Ricky Stuart hiring a stand-up comedian for the Raiders after a final loss last year, and I rather insensitively suggested that maybe Ricky should have performed the stand-up comedy set himself. I then proceeded to do an extremely poor impression of Ricky Stuart delivering Seinfeld-style observational humour, which in hindsight I recognise might have implied that he's not very funny. Since then I've taken some time to reflect on my actions, and I'd like to offer a heartfelt and unconditional apology to Ricky and to anybody else I may have offended last week. I was out of line with my comments and they fell well short of the standards we set for ourselves here at NRL Hellmouth. Because the truth is, I mean, while the public perception of Ricky Stuart might be that he's a bit of a prickly firebrand, the sort of man who delivers a foul-mouthed spray to his players at halftime and then brings a sports reporter to tears in the post-game press conference, the man we call Stick is actually an absolute hoot. So to set the record straight, I'd like to share an example of Ricky's fantastic sense of humour from the past. Michael Chammas wrote an article a few years ago around the time of when Ricky was about to coach his 400th game, and he spoke to several of the people that knew Stick over the years. There's a terrific bit in the article about how he used to ring up the boss of Channel 9 and abuse him for not showing enough Raiders games. And also a bit about how he, when he gets drunk, he likes to pinch people, apparently. But anyway, this is a direct quote from the article. Craig Bellamy tells the story of how Stuart, as a player, used to walk around Raiders training, taking great pleasure watching his teammates flinch in agony as he burnt the skin off their necks with the spoon he had just heated up with a cigarette lighter.
Well, number one, piss funny. First of all, it ticks that box.
Obviously.
I think after that, I asked the question, why has he got a spoon? It's obviously premeditated. I'm guessing everyone had cigarette lighters back in those days, even in the change rooms. But, something about that spoon.
It's true. It's that premeditation that's truly chilling.
It does make me want to go back through the history books and see if I can find any spoon-shaped welts on the back of players' necks during historic celebrations and whatnot.
Imagine you are Ricky Stuart and the way you express humour is through violence or bodily mutilation. And then
mild bodily mutilation.
Mild bodily mutilation. You're subjected to looking at your players make funny little TikTok videos or those other funny videos that the Raiders used to do very well that implied that the players were probably going to have sex with each other later in the day.
The golden era of Raiders content.
And I can just imagine him seething at the level that it's now at compared to something truly funny, like burning somebody's neck and leaving a scar.
Yeah, with a spoon, which is obviously where the humour, the crux of the humour is.
Yeah, that's right. And you can imagine him and Bellamy in the rooms just reminiscing about the times of the spoon or
just getting on the piss and pinching each other.
Restrained. Yeah, that's right. Getting on the piss majorly, ending up in Lake Burley Griffin. Anyway, times have changed. Times have changed.
So thank you for letting me get that out of the way. I'm very sorry, Ricky. And yes, you obviously have a tremendous sense of humour.
Well said, Simon. I think it took a big man. So appreciate it.
Also, I mean, pretty crazy. We did one podcast episode and we had to do a club statement equivalent. First
That's right.
week.
Before the season's even started.
I think we can take some pride in that.
Serious rugby league pedigree. All right, let's get into talking about the Circus of the Week, Las Vegas. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the Vegas hype has well and truly died this year. To recap the games this year, we have the Knights playing the Cowboys, so that's last year's Wooden Spooners playing last year's 12th place team, and the Bulldogs playing the Dragons, third playing 15th from last year's table. Now, I don't know about you, but if these games are on a Friday night doubleheader back in Australia in another round, I'd probably be putting on a movie instead. And I think that the whole reason for doing Vegas has never really been fully explained.
First of all, there's a big question as to what the long game is. Is it sort of just we're going to see what happens once we play these 5 years, or is the long game that they're trying to kind of break in a new market that will set itself up as a rugby league satellite competition, or is it just all about sort of, viewership and marketing revenue around that?
Dan, I think it was all of the above. It was, one, we want to get into their sports gambling, and they had ambitions for NRL to be live streamed on DraftKings or something like that, which is a big American sports betting channel, and then, or sports betting, website, and that didn't prevail. Then it was, we will provide great content that people would like to watch, and then that hasn't really happened.
So last year's game, that was the first time they showed a game on free-to-air TV in the US. The Raiders and Warriors pulled in 371,000 viewers. Sounds pretty good, but to put that in perspective, just last Saturday night in the US, a TV show in which contestants play Scrabble had 510,000 viewers. So Americans would rather watch a game of Scrabble than a game of NRL.
I read a similar article, but it was clearly sort of pro-Vegas, and I think it was touting a increase of 600% in viewership. But of course, that was because the first year was an absolute train wreck, and I think it was like tens of thousands of viewers in the States.
Yeah, well, I think the first year it was just on pay TV, like on Fox Sports paid channel or whatever, and then last year they managed to get a game on the Fox free-to-air channel. So, might have got a few curious viewers, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like so the players obviously love it.
By going to Vegas, theoretically, one, the players like it. Two, it's a spectacle. And three, we as the fans are supposed to have the perception that it is an event.
Yeah.
But I think the more times that you go to Vegas, the less you actually get out of it.
Okay.
WrestleMania was at Vegas last year. They made a lot of money. It was kind of popular. It's at Vegas this year in April, and its ticket sales have dropped off a huge amount. And people who want to travel multiple times to see their team would probably be more interested in going somewhere like Chicago, LA, New York, anywhere else in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Not Las Vegas more than once.
But I am loving the Ocean's 11-esque walkthroughs from every team. They're all getting around the Bellagios and all
looks
these
like
other
shit
sort of
plate. I've never been
famous...
to Vegas. It looks like
it just looks like shit, yeah.
Oh, God.
But they're all really enjoying it. They get to go in a big bus that has lights, and I'm seeing that a lot. And a lot of boys with big dreams, and can't wait to finish the games and hit the town.
Absolutely.
I was doing a little bit of research just to see how rugby league has penetrated the zeitgeist of the American sporting public. And I did go to the foxsports.com NRL page and had a quick look at it earlier in the week. in the lead up to Vegas. It's changed a little bit since I did it, but when I was scrolling down to see how rugby league was presented, there was an article about Brisbane Broncos beating the Storm in the NRL Premiership. There was an article about Walsh and Shibasaki among uncapped players picked for Australia Rugby League in England. And then in the articles tag Rugby League on Fox Sports, the next one was, "This phone is fucking dog shit. Adam Ross calls iPhone 17 Pro Max a trash phone." Rome's airport opens luxurious dog hotel with pampering services. Cougars clinch playoff spot with win over Dogs, which is about the Kane County Cougars. I don't know what they play. It's not rugby league. Dogs fall to Lake Country, which is another dog-related thing. Multiple dog articles.
Good strategy. I mean, people love dogs.
Does it ever get back down to NRL?
Oh, and then something about the Dolphins, but it's obviously not the NRL Dolphins.
I'm hearing a distinct lack of cut through.
Milkman pitching, no match for Dogs offense. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't think anyone's really been in on the page to maintain it between Vegas 2025 and Vegas 2026.
Yes, I mean, it sort of seems like it's a big watch and see with this year. The middle year of the 5-year contract will be a big indicator of where the concept is heading.
Now, the NRL does have one ace up its sleeve.
Go on.
To use a Las Vegas reference. They are selling some, quote, iconic Aussie foods at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas this weekend in an attempt to, I guess, win the US population over to our culture. Now, America's an awful place, but one thing they do extremely well is stadium food. Here are some things you can currently get at Allegiant Stadium on a regular Las Vegas Raiders game day. Barbecue short ribs with cornbread. The serving size of that is like half a cow. Smoked brisket burrito with red rice, crispy potatoes and manchego cheese. Caribbean jerk chicken with charred pineapple and coconut rice. A Japanese-style burger with wakame flakes and wasabi mayo. You can pair that with their famous miso bacon coleslaw.
Oh,
For my vegan brothers and sisters, an Evel Knievel-themed vegan pepperoni pizza. That's New York style, so the slice is as long as my arm. And for dessert, how does a waffle cone filled with peanut butter whiskey ice cream sound?
Oh, but you're going to tell me that Australians have done it even better, haven't you, Simon?
Correct. Into that culinary wonderland, the NRL is bringing, wait for it, meat pies, sausage rolls, and Tim Tams. These are the foods they're trying to use to turn Americans onto rugby league culture. Do you think it'll work?
Well, I think there are going to be some disappointed Americans. But I think, the sports-loving, red-blooded Americans, I think that they like being on top. And I think maybe baked into that offering is the fact that people will give it a try, but they'll go away proud that they've got
still the best country in the world.
A better spread. That's right. Because all that stuff that you mentioned is just, has been in America in the United States for, thousands of years?
Yes. Yeah.
So they just go back and say, we'll keep ours, thanks.
Anyway, I think if they really want to give Americans a taste of Australian rugby league culture, they should sell what I'm calling the NRL Player Snack Pack. You get a 6-pack of your choice of Great Northern or Carlton Dry tins, a protein bar produced by a company owned by a current or former player, of course.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then just a little bag of cocaine. Not that pure American stuff they get straight from the Colombian cartels, some low-quality, heavily adulterated eastern suburbs marching powder. And I think that would go a long way to introducing authentic rugby league culture to the USA.
Really nice touch, Simon. And I think some surly service as well, someone that's not going to be paid on tips and is just getting a basic award wage. Someone that can really just give you a good dose of passive aggression with your meal.
Say thanks, champ. When they give it to you.
Or chief, just to sort of raise the ire of people.
That one cuts deep.
Yeah, well, it cuts even deeper in the States.
Yes, good point.
And also, they would need to pre-open the protein bars. That would be funny. So you're not allowed to take it.
Yeah.
You've got to have it opened.
Yes.
before you leave the concession area.
So one of our the champion of Australia, the champion of Australia, Peter V'landys, he's like President Trump.
I'm very excited about what we can see in the United States, but of course, as we've all heard, the NRL is looking further afield, and we are looking global because the Vegas round, as it was previously known, is now being redubbed the global round, or maybe becoming that. The NRL has got sights on two other markets in particular. They're looking at Japan and the Middle East, where there seems to be some interest. They think there's a local market there that will find their product exciting. They think in 2027, so next year, in addition to the Vegas round, they'll be adding one more overseas game, and they're hoping to be adding two more to the current model in 2028. As I mentioned, Japan and the Middle East are identified as the key markets. Others mentioned include London, Hong Kong, and also they are sort of looking at other US cities such as Miami. I think just looking at the Middle East, there was actually some talk that the club championship between Hull and the Broncos was actually going to be held there. That fell over due to last-minute logistics, given that Hull had to back up and make it over to Vegas. But they were reportedly offered $1.5 million by a local government to host that event. So it's an exciting new territory. What do you think?
A lot of money. Can we just not do the Middle East, please? These bozos throw in money at anything if they think it will improve their image of being a planet-destroying petrostate with no respect for human rights. Yeah. Having said that, I can see positive pluses and minuses for the players. On the one hand, Gulf states famously not too keen on cocaine. Okay. On the other, I hear they have some great golf courses over there in Dubai. But I think the big question is would NRL players be considered migrant workers under their kafala system of indentured labour? Is Cameron Munster going to have his passport confiscated and have to live in squalid conditions with the other players until he fulfills his obligations in the Emirate?
I mean, it's hard work out there, but it's good, honest work, and that's something that he is certainly accustomed to.
And I believe the Emirati government's already proposed one rule change for this special match.
Go on.
Instead of the sin bin, they'll send you to a secret prison in Yemen.
Okay. For a limited time, or is it just a sort of undisclosed?
No, undisclosed. Undisclosed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds exciting. It's certainly a vibrant twist on the current model. I think the Bulldogs are very excited. They've put up their hand for the first rollout of the Middle Eastern game in 2027, citing their strong contingent of Middle Eastern fans, the Dogs Army. A lot of Middle Eastern heritage there. But I think you're right, Simon. I think, when you start thinking of, number one, the place, so it's certainly a warmer environment. It's also a 9-hour difference in time zone, or 9 to 10, depending on where in the Middle East you'll be looking. So that doesn't come without reasonably significant fallout. Also, given that we are trying to make this a TV event, does that mean that they play it over there in the middle of the night, or does it mean that we watch it in the middle of the night? Because a 9-hour difference is a hard one to get around. Someone's either waking up early to watch, or someone will be staying up late. So
that would be the advantage of Japan, is they're a similar time zone to us.
That is right. Yes.
And I genuinely think Japan is a great idea. They have a bit of a rugby union scene, so it's not like trying to crack a totally unfamiliar market like the US. I think there's one problem with Japan, and I know, which I experienced when travelling there last year, and Dan, I know you did too, because before I went, I Googled Japanese rugby league just to see if there are any, amateur competitions that I could maybe have a look at, pick up a jersey. And I was delighted to find they have a very professional national comp called Japan Rugby League 1 with 16 teams from across the country.
You thought, great, rugby league.
Yeah, fantastic. It's an international success story. But dig a little closer, you find out it's actually a rugby union competition called Rugby League 1, as in the first level league for rugby union. So I think the big challenge for Japan might be communicating that this is actually a different game entirely.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe the punters will come along expecting to see another slow, boring game of rugby union and be thrilled when they see another player stand up immediately after being tackled and play the ball.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know you could do that.
I'm familiar with that competition, and what they lack in interest or excitement on the field, they make up for in their team names and uniforms. If you have a look, there's some of the tremendous names.
Fantastic.
Tokyo Sun Goliaths, the Shizuoka Blue Rebs, Kobe Steel, Wild Knights, Toshiba Brave Lupus, and of course my favourite, the Urayasu D-Rocks. Certainly close to my heart. But yes, apart from that, the football's pretty shit boring. So they may be quite excited by our brand. Fantasy Volandis. But PVL is certainly a trailblazer. He does not leave anything to the imagination. And so we at NRL Hellmouth like to follow that lead and explore some of the great new concepts that we could possibly bring to the game. Now, I'm looking at the expansion of the golf and Japan, the United States, this global round. And I think, yes, this is a good, exciting idea, but I think the difference of time zones is the sticking point. I mean, let's just all agree if we can keep it in the same time zone, then we'll be laughing. So, with that in mind, I propose that we have a longitude round where we look at all of the cities that are in the same time zone as the Australian Eastern Seaboard. We've got some excellent options there. There's Honiara and the Solomons, Port Vila and Vanuatu, Noumea and New Cali. Can you imagine the holiday packages that you could spruik among expats?
Fantastic. And that's got
a very exciting time.
That's got a side entry into the French market as well, because I think they are technically part of the nation of France.
Well, that's a very interesting concept, because there's an elephant in the room here, and that is that PVL loves to schmooze with the most powerful. He likes to swing with the biggest dicks. And we know he put himself out there for Trump. He danced around, sung a song, and he may be feeling a little bit salty because at this stage he still hasn't quite got the attention. So, thank you, Simon, for bringing up the French connection. That's very exciting. But I propose something even more spicy, and that is Magadan in Russia. Right there on the isthmus of the Staritsky Peninsula, we've got a proud gold mining and fishing port town. These people are tough, they are warm-hearted, and I'm sure they would warm to our great game. I should mention they probably need to be warm-hearted because it's always below freezing.
Really? Even
in Magadan. And the soil is actually technically permanently frozen.
Even in their summer, which would be our rugby league season.
That's correct.
Still below zero.
Always frozen. But can you imagine the event? We can sort of, you can, without too much sort of leading of the imagination, we can already sort of, begin to visualize the pageantry of the long coats. We can see the steam coming off the players, the breath under the lights. You can see husky dogs bringing balls back from the players. And of course, just think of those expat very memorable holiday packages who can handle their vodka, I should point out. That's the only prerequisite. But I'm pretty excited about this, and I think if he really wants to sort of start courting the real superpowers in the world, so Magadan 2028, here we come.
Daniel, very awkward conversation will be had by Danica Mason to whoever her boss is at Channel 9, just to say, listen, please, I really want to go to the Russian game and the global round. I have learnt from my mistake. But
that's right.
And what I mean, and the but is a large pause. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear the vodka's very well priced over there too.
That's what the boss would say, and she wouldn't take that. I'm not interested in the vodka, madam or sir, or whomever my boss is. I'm interested in this intriguing matchup.
Because I think you're right. You'd have fantastic footage of, like the bench would have to probably be wearing the big Russian fur hats to stop their ears from freezing while they were sitting there. And I think that the one thing that like the NFL has over us is they have snow games every year, and they're always so exciting.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And I think rugby league in Australia's only had the one snow game, which was not a very good game, but was still, seems to show up weekly on my social media highlights reel, which was the Raiders and the Tigers back, I think it was like 2000 at Bruce Stadium, where there was a bit of snow.
Oh.
And boy, it was exciting.
We need to bank more exciting memories like that in the game. Can you imagine Reece Walsh coming off out of his end zone and he makes one or two moves left, right, and then he starts his slide at his defensive 40 and literally no one can stop him. He clean bowls the entire team.
Well, you could also have some of the other players in front of him acting like the broom guys in curling to kind of speed his progress along the ice as well. That'd add a thrilling new dimension.
Now we're thinking we are changing the game.
Simon, that is something I would like to bet on.
Yeah. Oh, I think everybody would. So, over to you, Volandis.
The NRL hit by another drug scandal.
Has been rocked by yet another potential drug scandal.
Drug-related bag of what's believed to be cocaine. Drug.
Illegal drugs are bad news. Don't mess with them.
We don't love this segment on NRL Hellmouth. We bring it up because we have to. Because
it's a duty. Yeah.
We have an ongoing segment around this just to alert the public about what's going on in and amongst the game. This week, rising star from Parramatta, Isaac Iongi, was photographed with... Listen, this is an editorial now. This is not fact. A beautiful-looking spliff. I don't smoke myself, but I appreciate the craft of rolling, the enjoyment in the photo.
Rolling up a nice big fatty Vorton.
We've all seen
Bit
it.
of the old Herbie Farnworth.
Yeah.
Nice bit of Mull Meninga.
And looked like an enjoyable afternoon or evening that he was having. And at NRL Hellmouth, I suppose we take a bit more of a liberal approach to recreational drugs in sport, and I hope that he gets through this particular situation well. And I did a bit of a read up on Isaiah in preparation for this, and I came across a lovely article. And I don't really want to explain too much about it, but I'm just going to read this passage, and I want your minds to draw the links here. When I was younger, we'd be with my mother's family in the morning and have breakfast, Iongi told NRL.com. Then we'd have a break in the afternoon and have dinner with my dad's family. We'd spend the whole day eating food. The context of this is that his dad is Tongan, his mother's heritage is Cypriot, and he's talking about Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. My grandfather would cook souvlaki every year for Christmas. We've got a suva that he'd put the chicken on, and it'd take a couple of hours to cook. He said he wants to pass it on to us. It was special for me and my brother to be able to do those little things like cook for our family the food we grew up eating. For my grandfather to pass it on is pretty special. And hopefully someday I can do the same to my kids and grandchildren. Now, the implication of that, of course, is that what goes better than a beautiful chicken souvlaki? What is the pre-game for a souvlaki that makes it all the more special? We don't need to say what it is.
Yeah, we don't
know
need
what
to.
it is. And you can just imagine he, with the knowledge of how to create a souvlaki, wanting to have the best possible experience, and then doing what he needed to do to achieve that.
Food, family, passion, marijuana.
Bit of the old spliff lions. Pulling a few kale and bongers. Bit of the old Mary James Fisher Harris.
That's very good. I think what I really like about that piece, James, is that, often when you see a story like this come out, you ask yourself time and time again, why did they take photos? But then you see, you hear a story like that and you see the artistry involved in the creation of that beautiful fatty, and one can only ask thereafter, why not take the photograph? You know, it's
and where is the spit? Where's the souvlaki? Where are the coals?
Yeah.
Where's the tzatziki? The pita? I'm sure it's probably all there, but they just didn't bother to post it. If they posted the whole scene, the spliff, the smoking of it, the slaughtering of the lamb after you walked it around the church 3 times,
you've got a best-selling paperback.
Carving. He would not be referred to the NRL integrity unit. Instead, Volandis would be saying, "Why wasn't I invited?"
What absolute madness.
Well, it might be madness, but I've enjoyed it, and I hope the viewer has as well.
That's because you're a man.
What?
You're a man.
That's a lovely way to go to a break.
Well, another fellow that did things by himself was Ezra Mam, who was involved in the World Club Challenge over the previous weekend, and was spotted making a gesture of, shall we say, self-celebration after he successfully completed a try, and he has copped a little bit of pushback on that. What did you guys think of that little celly?
The little wanking gesture. It was barely a wanking gesture. Couple of strokes at most. I don't know if it's been clarified whether he was calling somebody a wanker or if he was just expressing pleasure at his side mounting a comeback. I noticed he was kind of grinning and poking his tongue out while doing it, which to me implies a gesture of joy rather than an insult. In which case I say, well, let them wank. You know, we all express our emotions in different ways, on and off the field. Well, quite frankly, I'd like to see more bodily functions expressed during those celebrations.
I mean, we shouldn't be hiding this kind of thing away. I mean, we should legally, at least the real thing.
Yes.
But you know, at least something like this that sort of suggests to others it's okay to give oneself a congratulatory
pantomic.
Thank you. Yes, that's right. And then I think that's important that you should be able to, we could get around him, but not too close.
Oh, that's a good point, Dan. And let's not forget this game is based on characters.
Indeed.
It's not just 17 people aside, whatever it is, 13 on the field running up and down with the ball. It's interesting because people have their own experience. They bring their own stories. And this is a story that Ezra was telling.
Yeah.
And we understood what the story was. It was told
with
right. A ball, a try, a hand, a gesture, joy.
A little bit of cheeky spirit there. But, going back to what Simon was saying with Try July, they're so derivative. They're learning dances from the United States. They're watching TikTok videos, all these kinds of things. Ezra is expressing something fresh, new. It was self-celebration, and I think you're right, James. It was joyous.
The foul play far outweighs the dickhead.
Over the off-season, we did see a number of new logos. I say new logos, but something I learnt when I was digging over these topics recently is that, did you know that new logos have to be provided to the NRL 18 months before they can launch?
Wow.
Because they need to go through a significant, not only the approval, but then they actually have to apparently take 18 months to get it straight with all of their future merchandising avenues. So that concerns me, that a lot of these fresh new logos are actually sort of, potentially getting stale before they've even hit the streets. What were your takes on the new logos? Of course, we had the Bulldogs, the Broncos, the Perth Bears.
Bulldogs one is really, really terrible. The Bulldog doesn't look tough or scary to me. It just looks tired, grumpy, slightly arrogant, which is why I'm pretty sure they modelled it on Phil Gould. Legitimately think they may have just uploaded a photo of Gus to their LLM of choice and said, make this into a dog. And don't you dare remove any of the jowls.
I was also going to say, just to add to that, if I can, that I think that the demographic of the Bulldogs, i.e. the Bulldogs fan demographic, cannot be seen within that Bulldog logo, and they really missed a trick. Potentially big old eyebrows joining across like mine. Stubble, really nice, tight stubble. It's got a few whiskers there, but it's just not reading of the region, and I think that's incredibly disappointing.
It's interesting that you say those things, James. I'm not sure if you are across these releases, but when they come out, a popular step undertaken by the teams is to release these sort of branding notes or the design notes from the firm that has put together the new design. And they often point to some pretty strange and perhaps hard to find details of deep significance. For example, with the dogs, if you're looking at the dog there, there's a few things here. So they say the grey shading, they have an annotated mark that says the grey shading has evolved from the current bulldog, placing more emphasis on the grit and determination shown in the facial features. Whereas if you trace down, there's another helpful annotation, and it says it's basically these two black lines just around the bottom of the collar, sort of like the jowl line, and it says the circular black element pays homage to the emblem from the most successful era of the club, whilst forming a well-balanced logo. So it's quite a long bow to draw.
Whereas if it said the Bulldogs got nice bushy eyebrows like our cool Greek fans, then people are like, oh, that's so cool. I see myself in that, in the club that I love.
That's right. Well, the Broncos, they came out with theirs soon after the Dogs, within or just over a month. They released theirs in late November. It seemed to get the tick of approval from the masses. What did you folks think of that one?
The Broncos one is a weird one because every time I see it, I have a different emotion about it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And other times I'm like, that really sucks. It's a bit generic. Like, I actually think that the old Broncos logo was one of the better team logos. That kind of fairly simple side-on horse's head was quite cool, and I think they've got good colours in their logo.
Yep.
So I don't think they should have changed. This one is not better than that, and it seems quite generic, corporate-y kind of logo as opposed to a team logo.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen that there's a few other, it's similar to quite a number of other logos. Like there's other teams that have a very similar one. And also one of the big, I think it's Carlton Dry, has basically that same design on their bottles.
They have also said among their design notes, they have, now this is like at the very bottom of the horse where it sort of winds into the the base of the shield. There's sort of like a thick line, and it goes to a square end. Anyway, that thick line is the stripe. Our Brisbane River relentlessly flowing forward. So just in case you missed it, that's what's happening there. Then also,
I got that immediately, I've got to say.
Oh, good. I'm very glad.
That's the big brown snake of Brisbane, the mighty Brisbane River, I thought.
Well, did you get this? They also say the mighty Bronco. This is just talking of the horse. The mighty Bronco, eyes front, staring unflinchingly into the future, which I'm sort of not sure how impressive that is for a still image, the fact that the horse is unflinchingly staring.
Yeah.
I sort of wonder if Michelangelo also spruiked David as having a noble, ever-flaccid penis. But I suspect we sort of just take these things for granted when something is inherently motionless.
Yes. But also, why are they saying eyes front on the Bronco when it's a side-on logo? The eyes are quite clearly directed to the side.
It's a good point, Simon. I mean, a horse has to look some way. So to make a point of the fact that it's staring eyes front is,
Although now that I think of it, I mean, horses can never look eyes front. They famously have eyes on the side of their head as a traditional prey animal. They have eyes on the side of their heads so they can get a close to 360-degree view looking for any predators.
I'm getting sniff of a "we was wrong" coming out of Broncos HQ.
Well, Simon, it should say the mighty Bronco, eyes as per a horse with a 360-degree view of all that is around us, including the future.
Oh, and the Brisbane River. Can we just keep it in one sentence?
Yeah, and I do love the bit where it says up the top of this, the name of our great city, Brisbane. Great. So no matter how far we go, people know where we're from. Wonderful. It lists a name. What a unique design element.
The unmistakable name of the city.
Got a friend at work, and she was thrilled that the Broncos won the grand final and wanted to get a tattoo, and hated this logo so much that she ensured that she got the tattoo in 2025, not 2026, because she thought if she got it in 2026, she would be required, cosmically required to get it.
Oh, I see.
The new logo. So she got it on New Year's Eve, just so that she could get the old logo in time.
Sneak it in. Very good.
I've actually,
great logo, the old one.
I was so appalled by the rationale for the logo that I just had a quick look around. And if you have a look at the logo for the Marconi Stallions, that is a football team, a horse-themed football team. This is what a true innovation in logo looks like, and I don't think they've had to change it for quite a while. It's got a boomerang on it, and the boomerang's got an Italian flag on it, and behind the boomerang with the Italian flag on it, there's a radio tower, which symbolises the original Marconi who invented radio. That's the logo. We called Marconi.
That is a logo.
Boom. Got the radio tower. We're Italian. Boom. Put the flag on. We're from Australia. What's more Australian than a boomerang? Whack that on top.
That's really
boom,
good.
Boom, boom. Hey, there's no horse on it. Doesn't matter. Says it.
See, that's right. Drawing from the Broncos logo, the horse is implied by the word stallions.
That's right. Take that to Vegas. You get a lot of people wanting to gamble on that team.
Get on the stallions. Look, not to be outdone, I contacted our design firm, I think that's what they're called, for some design notes on our logo. For those that are unfamiliar, we've got our own NRL Hellmouth logo. It's sort of a blocky typeface. There's sort of freehand lines with drippy bits, sort of a bit of a blood kind of dripping kind of effect. And at the end of either end of the word Hellmouth, there is a large H that looks a bit like the goalposts. But I've got these notes that came through from the design firm. The gallant, pugnacious typeface is a nod to our always say die philosophy, while playful lines suggest a naivety and innocence, paying homage to all those players who unsuccessfully contested charges at the judiciary. The drips depicted below the E, L, M and U characters of the modern Roman alphabet spell Elmu, which we think could be the name of a great sage or future corporate sponsor. Also, the proud H character, bookending our valiant logo, are an unrelenting, unshakable symbol of hope, ambition, compassion, shame, recurring horse nightmares, funk music, goalposts, and the letter H. So I think that's a really nice summary.
It's fantastic. Money well spent.
And the funny little bits on the end of the H are also James's eyebrows. You missed that bit.
Okay, just taking care of a little bit of sponsor business. Bear with me, this one's scrawled out on the back of an envelope. There really are few things better than setting your sights on one of Australia's many beautiful small birds at one of Sydney's iconic rugby league venues. Thankfully, you can now put all that to good work. Introducing Trent Robinson's Small Bird Survey of Sydney. Here's how it works.
Visit a Sydney Rugby League venue on game day.
Take note of any small birds you see in and around the venue. Nothing stupid.
Download the QR code from the internet site.
Print it on a dot matrix or bubble jet with at least 72 dots of print per inch.
Take a photo of that QR code.
Then it's as simple as jotting down the website address that pops up on your phone.
Typing that into the internet address thing.
Then you arrive at Trent Robinson's Small Bird Survey of Sydney observation form, in parentheses he's written ob form, where you log your sighting. No silly stuff, cut that stuff out.
And just repeat these easy steps for each bird you see, nothing stupid.
Your observations will then be processed in one of our secure offshore data farms, with the results helping the supercoach Trent Robinson find small birds in and around Sydney's iconic rugby league grounds.
I've probably been seeing small birds at league games for years, but I never clued on to the fact that all my work could go to a good cause. My family are really pumped, and I'm really glad to be helping Trent.
If you write in thinking it's clever to submit one of the many birds that share their name with rude words, that's just juvenile. Cut that stuff out. Join almost 16.1 million Australians and take part in probably the greatest small bird in and around rugby league venues of Sydney survey in recent times. And then there's just a long bunch of contact details down the bottom.
Far out, man. Daniel, does he pay direct? Do we get a bank transfer? Because I don't know what you agreed. That was an incredibly long read. It was very hard to do with any quality.
Yeah, look, I haven't actually sorted out the details, but I think he's a man of his word. I really admire Trent for standing by the sort of the purity of the concept. I did suggest that we sort of included the mention of surveying Sydney Roosters as a bit of fun, and he was not thrilled by that idea at all.
He writes ad copy like he coaches his team. Very effective, but Christ almighty, get a bit of levity into it.
He's the fastest man on the planet. He's the fastest man on the planet. He'd have got there, Rabbits. He'd have got there.
All right. Almost time to close up the Hellmouth for another week. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope Lady Luck smiles upon your teams this weekend if they're playing in the great city of Las Vegas. You can follow us on all your favourite social media platforms or visit us on the web. Get in touch via nrlhellmouth.com. Now, as always, it's over to the philosopher king of NRL Hellmouth to take us out. James, your final thought, please.
Doesn't matter to us if you're watching rugby league in Las Vegas, Nevada, or Abu Dhabi, or Honiara Solomon Islands, or that place in Russia I'd never heard of before that Daniel found. You could be watching it anywhere. On the toilet, with your family, smoking a spliff and eating a souvlaki. Just know that we bloody love you. Oh, Ave Valandis! Ave Las Vegas!
Grinding up a few nugs of the old green machine. Toking a couple of Bongathan Thurstons. Nice little ball of Hashley Klein. Pulling a few James Tedescones. Smoking a nice big Reef Walsh. Thanks, guys. Let's catch up and smoke a few Billies later.